in New England. You'll hear at least one voice who says, yes, it is. All that and more as we get up with you starting right now. From the Seaport, Greeny Graziano is here with me today on this jam-packed Tuesday, and the squad is ready to go. Let me show you who we got ready to talk football with us today. Oh, Swagoo! We couldn't find a paper bag to put over his head, so he's got the glasses working. Greg McElroy, Jeff Saturday. Oh, it's going to be that kind of morning. And let's show you why. Game of the night. Certainly not for Dallas, it wasn't. Hosting the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. Entering the game, the Cowboys had allowed 60 points off turnovers. We call that foreshadowing. First quarter, no score. Andy Dalton under pressure, finds Zeke, and Zeke has got some problems. Before he's able to secure it, the ball is popped loose. Buda Baker knocks it away. Jordan Phillips falls on it for Arizona. Take another look. Zeke not controlling the football. It's dislodged, and that gives the Cardinals good field position, and they take advantage. Fourth down on the ensuing possession. Why give it up when Kyler Murray can just do this? Look at the speed to the edge. 11 yards. The drive stays alive. We're early second quarter. 2 plays later, NFL teams love the flip. The little flip to Christian Kirk. And speaking of speed to the edge, Cardinals take a 7-0 lead, capitalizing off the Elliott turnover. But we're not done. The ensuing possession, second play of the drive. Elliott again. Oh, you got to be kidding. Up the middle, he loses it again. Zeke Elliott ran 12 times for 49 yards and lost 2 fumbles in last night's game. This one is recovered by Byron Murphy. It's his 4th lost fumble of the season. He'd only lost 5 in the first 4 years of his career. Ensuing possession. First and 10 from the 17. It's Murray taking it himself again. Look at the speed. Look at the moves. He's down to the 1. Kenyon Drake would take it in on the next play. It's 14-0 Arizona. Under 5 minutes left in the half now. Cardinals the ball at their own 20. Kyler Murray just 9 of 24 in the game, but this one is spectacular. Christian Kirk behind the defense, 80 yards for the touchdown. Kirk's second of the night. Cardinals a 21-0 lead. Closing seconds of the half. Cowboys looking to strike back in the red zone. You can't miss these opportunities. That's right in the hands of Michael Gallup. And through it goes. And the Cowboys settle for a field goal, 21-3 at the half. Dallas gets the ball in the third quarter, still down 21-3. Andy Dalton back to throw. And here's a nice, easy completion. The trouble is it's completed to Dre Kirkpatrick, who plays for the other team. Take another look. How is it that Kirkpatrick winds up being the only person in the area? Well, he blatantly knocks down C.D. Lamb. No call, no flag. Cowboys' 3rd turnover of the day. And as you would imagine, the Cardinals take advantage. First and goal from the 1. It's Murray again. And the blowout is en route. 28-3 at the time. 38-10 is the final score. It was that kind of night for the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family. They fall to 2-4, and this one was ugly.
I didn't coach very well. I have a continuing issue with ball security on my football team. Something I personally take a lot of pride in how it reflects how you play the game of football, and I'm not getting that done right now.
I'm just going to keep saying it over and over. I started the game out with 2 fumbles, gave the ball away, and that gave them all the momentum that they needed to go and take off. I want to say I'm sorry, and this one's on me, and I need to be better for this team.
Well, he takes the responsibility, but the reality is turnovers are the biggest issue for the Cowboys. Through 6 games, they've allowed 84 points off turnovers and have, as you see there, a minus 74-point margin that's tied for the worst through 6 games over the last 40 years. So let's put the group together. I've been waiting all morning long to ask Marcus Spears, with or without the shades. How you feeling this morning, big fella?
G, you see how I'm feeling, man. Underneath these shades are swollen eyes. I was on that field last night taking the punches to the face, exactly with the Cowboys. It was a devastating night. I got on Instagram last night and said, just turn it off, make it stop. We should have a running clock in the NFL for games like this, because in my son Little League basketball and baseball, they have, they got in baseball, you got a 12-run rule in his age group, and in basketball, it's a running clock if you go up by 30. And that's exactly how I felt last night. And to be honest with you, G, when you look at the game in totality, man, what came to mind was how much Dak made up for the deficiencies on this team. That's all I could think about, including turnovers, because he turned the ball over and Zeke had fumbles when he was playing as well. But all of this was being hidden. Zach Martin was lost last night to a possible concussion, and now you're playing with an offensive line that's some spots 2 deep and 3 deep at the center spot. This is a disaster. And Andy Dalton, we thought, was going to right the ship. And I picked the Cowboys to win the game because I thought they would be able to run the football. And obviously, their $90 million man who just fessed up to costing his team. And I don't know if that would have won the game if he wouldn't have had those 2 fumbles. But it was an absolute butt whooping. And every time today I talk about the Cowboys, I'm putting these shades on because my eyes get swollen.
Well, you have this to look forward to. I'm bringing Stephen A. in to battle with you a little bit later this morning. So be geared up for that because you know he's ready for you. Meanwhile, Greg McElroy, I know you put together some tape because, look, this was a night where literally everything went wrong, but you have pinpointed the area where it was the single biggest problem for the Cowboys.
And Greeny, he can talk about Dak masking all these deficiencies, but the reality was the communication between the quarterback position and the offensive line last night was in many ways atrocious. Atrocious. Here's a simple pressure. 5 defenders in the box, 5 guys blocking. You have your running back who's in one-on-one with the will linebacker. The center has to see the fact that there is presence on the right. He's trying to push his right guard out. Buda Baker just runs through scot-free. Andy Dalton thinks he's protected, and he gets absolutely smoked. Doesn't matter if Dak's on the field for that. It's a sack. You got 4 guys left to the center here on the zone to the left. You have 3 blockers. You cannot run this play into a 4-man side. That is day 1 install. And Jeff Saturday, who was maybe the smartest player to ever play the center position, the looks that they constantly got were relatively simple to defend if you are the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. However, the communication between Andy Dalton and
I think Greg just froze, but I think the whole world was just stunned by him calling Jeff the smartest offensive lineman he'd ever heard. But Jeff, pick up the thought there one way or the other, because he got most of the point out there, which was the offensive line was the problem last night. Jeff Saturday, what did you see?
Yeah, it was a travesty, and the points he's making are could not be more truthful. Like if you look at it's such a simplistic defense that was being played against them, and it really is just counting, Greeny. I mean, when you talk about the blitzes that are getting home and they're running to a weak side with 4 guys over there, I mean, it's literally basic counting, right? Count the 4. They got 1 more than us. We got to go the other way. When that guy's going to come and bring pressure, either he's got to throw it to the tight end or they got to slide to pick up that protection. But what we made this statement last week when Dak got hurt. Everybody said, can Andy Dalton do this? It's not about Andy Dalton, right? It's about this offensive line, and they can't get it done. They're like a subway turnstile, man. At the first 2 passes, they had guys in their face. And by the way, Chandler Jones wasn't in the house. So this was not just a 20-sack guy. This is just guys who are running by, getting pressure on your quarterback. There's no communication. You're not seeing any points. You're not seeing any talk between the offensive line and the running backs or tight ends. This thing is ugly. And here's the problem. You can't get this thing solved by handing it to Zeke because he's dropping it the first time he touches it. It's an absolute embarrassment when you look at the way my middle school football team is coached better than that and can execute better than that because it's simple. There is nothing complicated about the whipping they took last night.
All right, Marcus, go ahead, Swagger. What do you got?
Gee, did I make the point that Dak masked a lot of this stuff and Greg said he didn't?
Yes. Do you believe he did? Because that was going to be my next question to you. Do you believe that Dak Prescott's agent was watching that game last night with a cigar in his mouth and champagne on the table saying, look what this offense looks like without my client? Marcus, yes or no?
Gee, well, yes. Every man on this show, what the hell y'all think? Looking at that team last night, hey, I got something for you too. It ain't like this offensive line just got bad last night. They've been bad.
That's right.
And guess who been masking it? By avoiding rushes and avoiding sacks and avoiding pressure. His ankle was fractured because he was avoiding pressure and getting outside of the pocket because this offensive line ain't blocked nobody. What Andy Dalton went through is what Dak Prescott been going through the first few games of the season. This ain't changed. Ain't nothing different. Zeke been fumbling the ball and even overcoming his own mistakes and throwing interceptions. Every game before this, the Cowboys had a shot to win. We knew damn well they ain't have no shot to win this one last night.
Let me ask Dan Graziano a question, because I can honestly say I've been a sportscaster for 30 years. I've never had this kind of conversation about a team that was alone in first place in its division, but that is the reality of the terrible NFC East. So they're not going to look at this thing as though it's hopeless. They're in first place. Is there any potential for a move to be